I've tested over 230,000 ads to crack the Facebook ad algorithm. And after 70 million of cumulative ad spend and over 150 million of directly attributable income for my clients, I've learned a thing or two that can take your Facebook ad account from where it is right now to extremely profitable. In this video, I'm going to reveal my 5-step process for running Facebook ads so profitable you can't stop getting sales. The meta algorithm is extremely complex, and it will push ads to users that it thinks will convert at a high percentage rate on the business objective that you've selected. In other words, if you prioritize your campaign to get purchases on your website, it will only show those ads to users it thinks will convert on those ads themselves. What this results in is an endless competition of who has the best ad creative in the auction. And what I'm gonna share with you is gonna give your ads the best chance at success so you can overstep your competition, lower your costs, and put more money in your pocket. Let's talk ad creatives. There are 3 core elements of an ad creative that make a profitable ad creative. Number 1 is the medium. In other words, what type of asset are you testing? Are you testing a static image? Are you testing a short form video that's 15 seconds or less? Are you testing a mid form video that's between 16 seconds and 3 minutes? Or are you testing a long form video, a VSL type of video, where that's longer than 3 minutes? All of these different mediums react differently in the algorithm, so it's imperative that you invest creative resources into testing all of them for your business and your offer. Next up is your creative style. In other words, are you testing different types of ad creative? Are you testing user-generated content? Are you testing high production style? Are you testing animations? Are you testing graphics? Because similar to mediums like we just spoke about, users react differently when they're shown different creative styles. Some users will react extremely positively to user-generated content and they'll convert at a higher percentage with those ads. Other users hate user-generated content so much and they'll only convert on something really unique like an animation or a 3D product render. And don't tell me that your business can't make one of those, because it can, I promise you. And lastly, with the creative elements, it's your marketing angle. In other words, what is the direct benefit or the direct value proposition that you're presenting to the market within your ad? And that's going to vary depending on your business, your industry, and the particular product or service that you're selling. But I can promise you that if you do the research correctly, you'll have no problems coming up with at minimum between 4 and 5 angles. And the best way to test the creative is going to be pairing the mediums with the styles, with the marketing angles, and interchanging those variables together until you Frankenstein a concept that just prints you money. Now let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the ad concept itself, because you can create an image that is a different style than the original, that has a different marketing angle than the original, but it's not best practice unless you're testing between 3 and 4 concepts within each ad set. And the reason we do this is because Facebook is really good at finding the winning creative when you test micro variations. And so every ad concept that you test, regardless of whether it's a short form video with UGC style and marketing angle number 1, or maybe it's a static image with a graphic style and the 3rd marketing angle, it really doesn't matter what combination of variables that you've selected for your ad concept, because you should be creating at minimum between 3 and 4 variations for every test that you run. Taking advantage of those split testing opportunities is the reason why some advertisers are able to squeak out a little bit of extra juice out of their ad sets compared to the ones that only test 1 or 2 ads per ad set. My personal recommendation is to test multiple different headlines for static images, and then for videos, whether it's short form, mid form, or long form, you want to test different hooks. Test the first 3 to 5 seconds of the video, interchange it out with another piece of content, and see which one performs the best. Battle of attrition.
So here's some examples of multiple hook variations that I pulled from my Performance Creative Masterclass. These are different hook variations for a brand called First Day. And you can see that if you go through each of these, there's actually different text at the very beginning for all 4 of these variations. And that's all you need. You don't need to have super unique hooks each time. You just need to test 1 variable, and that creates multiple ad variations that can split test against each other and get the best possible performance. Same thing with the call to actions. You can see on screen that it's the same base asset behind, but it actually has a couple different headlines, right? So this one's Black Friday, this one's best sale of the year, this one's 3 free towels, and this one's 40% off. You can also test different stuff like caption style. So there's a native style, which is like the Instagram, TikTok native, white background, black text, or black background, white text. And then there's Alex Hormozy style captions with the colors. And then maybe you want to test the custom caption style for your other variation. Now, here's what I mean by multiple styles of creative. Yes, we have statics, mid-form, short-form, long-form, but we also want to test that against different styles. So we have X reasons why, we have animation, high production style, mashup, testimonial, call-out. There's a ton of other ones, again, available inside the roundtable for free.
If you don't create multiple variations within each ad set, your competition is going to have such an upper hand in the auction, it's not even going to be close. Because think about it, even though you might be testing the same amount of ad concepts, they're testing 3 to 4 times the amount of ads that you're testing. All right, let's move on to ad copy, and particularly ad copy that presents a positive user experience for those users on Meta. A couple years ago, you used to be able to get away with copy that had a ton of emojis, a lot of exclamation points, a lot of urgency and scarcity within the first little section of the copy. And the headline, same thing. You could make it look really ridiculous and it would convert. But these days, Meta has started to really crack down on that super direct response style copy. And so you have to be a little bit more careful with the type of ads that you're running. If you're not, then you risk your ad account getting shut down, your ads getting rejected, and ultimately you not being able to advertise on Meta without jumping through a ton of annoying hoops. There are 2 frameworks that I like to use when developing ad copy, regardless of the business or the industry or the product or service that I'm selling. Number 1 is AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. The second one is PAS, or problem, agitate, solution. And it's a pretty simple framework. You go from the top down in your primary text copy on Facebook, and you implement each of those variables individually until you have a fully functioning piece of copy.
Here's an example of the AIDA ad copy that I pulled from my media buying masterclass. So the attention, thousands of moms are raving about this 5-day cleanse and reset kit, directly calling out the audience using social proof and FOMO, as well as a direct time to value. Interest, getting the interest of the audience to keep watching the ad, potentially to click through. Imagine losing 5 to 10 pounds in less than a week, all thanks to the 3 secret ingredients the food industry doesn't want you to know about. Okay, well, what are the 5 secret ingredients? Desire. Get ready to wear that dress on your next night out because you'll be looking and feeling better than ever. Action. Tap or click to get yours at a special discount. Doesn't need to be anything complex or crazy. Another example with the PAS, problem, agitate, solution. What's the problem? Have you ever struggled to fit in a pair of jeans? Very relatable problem that overweight people will have. Agitate that problem, make it really hit them home, hit hard. Not being able to do the things you used to be able to do can be disheartening, leaving you unmotivated to improve. Agitating the problem that we initially brought into the picture, and then providing a solution. That's why we created this 5-day cleanse and reset kit. Our customers have reported 5 to 7 pound drop in weight over 5 dates, along with feeling less bloated and overall healthier. So those are the 2 ad copy variations with some examples.
The reason why these formulas work so well is because they hijack the user's brain and create a cognitive bias within. You get their attention by stating a question or stating a problem, and then you reel them in by diving deeper into their pain points and their problems and their day-to-day life. And then, conveniently, your product or service is presented as the solution right after being presented by call to action. Okay, but what about your audiences and your targeting and ultimately who you're trying to show your ads to? Well, Facebook ads have changed quite a bit since those early dropshipping days of 2017 and 2018. So much so, there are a ton of gurus still today that are preaching the exact wrong things that you should be doing in your ad account when it comes to audiences and targeting. I'll just be super straightforward here. You should only be using one audience for all of your creative tests, and it's not an interest group. It's not a lookalike audience, it's not a Shopify audience, it's broad targeting with no restrictions. The reason we do this is very simple. Broad provides the largest possible audience pool of qualified users that will react positively to your business. Remember going back to ad creative where I said different mediums, styles, and angles will resonate with different types of users. Well, broad provides the largest capacity for that to be executed in an efficient manner. And it lowers your costs as well because you're not providing detailed targeting restrictions to the algorithm. Anytime you select an interest group or a lookalike audience or a custom audience, you are restricting the available users that you have to sell your product to. And Meta will always upcharge for that. So your CPMs go down over time as you use broad. You have the largest possible audience pool, but there is a third reason why we use broad. Imagine a world where you have an ad creative that is doing exceptionally well for your business. Every day you wake up, you check Ads Manager, and it's printing money for you. Yes, you think that this is never gonna end, but a couple weeks later, it starts to fizzle out. If you are using interest groups or lookalike audiences, you will always run into ad fatigue. And the reason is because the audiences themselves are limited in size. You're not going to be able to showcase your ad to so many users at a high spend level when your audience is only 1 to 2 million in total size. And so broad targeting allows you to have almost infinite scale with your ad creatives once you do find a winner, because again, you're targeting the entire region of wherever you're positioning your ads, whether it's in the United States, United Kingdom, tier 4 countries, worldwide, doesn't matter. Now, everything that we just mentioned means absolutely nothing if your offer sucks. One of the biggest reasons why your Facebook ads might be failing that nobody really seems to talk about, because it's not necessarily a sexy subject. Everybody wants to talk about the ad creative. Everybody wants to talk about your audiences. Everybody wants to talk about your website, but nobody is creating content about creating a compelling offer. There are 4 sections of a complete grand slam irresistible offer. And yes, I'm ripping this from Alex Hormozi's $100 Million Offers book. Shoot me if you want. It's a fantastic product and it explains it in a way that I wouldn't have been able to do myself. Absolutely golden advice in this book. I would highly recommend. At the top of the division bar, you have 2 outputs, the dream outcome and the perceived likelihood of achievement. At the bottom of the bar, you have time delay and effort and sacrifice. Everything at the bottom of the bar, we want to reduce as much as possible, and everything at the top of the bar, we want to propagate and push forward as much as possible. That will increase your value output, and that will increase the value of your offer, or at least the perceived value. Starting off with the dream outcome, you need to do the research to figure this out, because I can't tell you, it's industry and business specific. But essentially, you have to figure out in your market, what is their greatest pain point and what's preventing them from getting there. Use that in the messaging of your ads, and I guarantee you'll have more sales. Perceived likelihood of achievement can actually have a pretty big impact, and you can do this in several ways. You can actually increase the likelihood of achievement, or you can add perceived likelihood of achievement, which is exactly what it is anyway. There are a couple of strategies and tactics you can implement on your ads, on your website, and within your offer itself to increase this. Now, on the flip side, time delay. If your product or service takes 30 days to execute, well, that's not going to be as powerful as a sell as it would be if it took 24 hours to execute. Why? Because people want things now. They want things fast and they want things quick. In other words, if your product or service could make somebody lose 30 pounds in 24 hours, do you think you'd sell a lot of it compared to the guy that says, hey, it takes 6 months? Hell yeah. Effort and sacrifice. Another really important component. How much effort and sacrifice does it take from your customer to get the result that they want? If you can find ways to reduce that, then you're gonna have an easier time selling and your offer is going to be more powerful. So you combine all 4 of these ingredients, and you try and optimize each one individually to create the best possible value combination, which increases the value of your offer. In the e-commerce space specifically, there's a couple things you can do, like on your product page, you can add bundles for a discount. You can add user reviews and testimonials. You can add urgency and scarcity at the top of the page to increase that perceived likelihood. Lastly, let's talk about continuous testing, because ultimately it is not good enough to just upload an ad here or there and expect to make a ton of money. That's not how it works. Advertising, similar to organic content on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, it's a game of volume. And if you're not putting in the reps, then you are going to be passed by your competition. The easiest way to combat this is to just build a schedule where you are guaranteed to produce X amount of assets each week. My recommendation for new ad accounts or ad accounts that aren't spending a ton of money is at minimum test 2 concepts a week. If you can test 2 concepts a week that each have multiple variations within, you're gonna be doing a good job. Now, obviously scale this process as your business scales and as you spend more money. Some of the top brands that I work with test, you're not gonna believe me when I say this, hundreds of ads each week. And yes, all quality video content or static images, there's no no corner cutting or loss cutting in this. They are testing quality ads, 100 plus per week. That's what it takes to win. If you're not willing to do that, accept it and try a different channel. But that is how the game is played at the high level. I remember I was working on Dr. Kellyanne's Cleanse and Reset product line back in 2023, and I was trying to scale the ad spend in the account. When I took it over, it was spending about $10,000 to $12,000 a day profitably, and I ramped up creative volume. I was submitting request after request, remix after remix. I was taking a look at the platform data and applying it to the decision making that I was making for the ad account itself. Qualitative analysis, performance creative analysis. And what did that result in? I scaled that ad account from $10K a day to $75,000 a day in profitable ad spend in less than 3 months, all by increasing creative volume. We didn't change basically anything else. The campaign structure looked almost identical. We had roughly the same ad copy going to the same landing pages. We just increased volume of testing, and that resulted in a monumental shift in the business. If you want to learn more about how to optimize your account, create winning ads, and increase your ROAS, click on this video to get so good at Facebook ads you can't stop printing money. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.